July 28th. I wasn't going to record today, but I had a dream in the morning. Another spider. That better not be another spider. So what happened was, in my dream, it's like 5 in the afternoon. In my dream, I'm in my grandmother's house. I'm in my grandmother's house. And I'm in a room, and it's my apartment. But it's my apartment, but at the same time it's not. And there's stairs, and there's certain levels. So I'm going downstairs because I live downstairs. And in this house, there's almost this feeling like I can't get out, and I also don't want to go out. My grandmother is there. I could feel her, or a grandmother presence. That's a better word, because it's almost like visually it was my aunt that I've mentioned before. If you followed my story, I have an aunt that's a maternal aunt, but she's the oldest. She's kind of become the grandmother for my mom's side of the family. She's the oldest sister. She's the one that married my dad's older brother. So now I don't have any more grandparents. They're kind of like the next in line. And it just so happened that I spoke to my mom yesterday, and she mentioned that my aunt had asked about me. And I was like, oh, I haven't talked to her. I need to call and reach out. So in my dream, she was there. In my dream, she was there. But I didn't see her. Like, there was just this knowing she's in the space. And because she's kind of like the grandmother, that's why there was this feeling of a grandmother presence. But it was really my aunt. But I didn't want to go over there. I wanted to see her, but at the same time, I couldn't. Because there was this feeling of like, I have to finish cleaning out the cobwebs in my space. There was that feeling of like, I can't go yet. I'm cleaning out the cobwebs. I'm cleaning out the cobwebs in my room in this house. That feeling that I had was it was my grandmother's house. Even though it doesn't look like my grandmother. I mentioned that it's all symbolic. It's the emotional experience of how you relate to what you're experiencing in the dream. The reason why I couldn't go to her yet was because the person that molested me as a child, touched me inappropriately, was there outside with her. And there was almost this feeling like I'm not ready yet. And so even though in my dream the resolution was with my parents, that's why. I was trying to think why I think the part that I was a little hung up on was why is it still hard for me to kind of still be around him, I guess, because I kind of had hoped I wouldn't. So I that's what struck me from the dream this morning, that I could feel my aunt's grandmother presence, and this wanting to go see her, but I couldn't yet. There was just this feeling like I can't yet. I have to clean the remaining cobwebs in my space was the feeling. And my sister was in the room with me. She appeared in the room with me. I was talking to my mom about my loved one. My loved one. And she, I don't remember what she was doing. But I remember telling her I need to clean the cobwebs. The only location left in the house were the corners. I'm like, why are there cobwebs in the corners? Like in the corners. So it just so happens, and that's why I'm recording. It's because I woke up today and I'm reflecting on the dream. I'm getting ready and I look, and in the corner there's a spider. I'm like, okay, it was a daddy long legs, and I usually leave them alone. I'm like, I'm just gonna let you be, right? I mean, there's enough space for all of us. it's I've mentioned it before, like, and she was very small, so I don't have an issue with it as long as it doesn't become like too, visually unpleasant. Or where they scare me, or if it's in a position where the potential for it to scare me is there. So yeah. So I let it be. And I'm looking around, and all of a sudden I'm seeing them everywhere. And the last straw was a big wolf one inside where my shoes are. I'm like, oh, hell to the no. And I think I actually heard it when I was trying to get it out. And then at that point I was like, I'm gonna get all you out. I'm just gonna clear it out. So it's just funny that there were no cobwebs. Like, I just finished cleaning a couple days ago. So, to be surprised with that dream, I'm not done with the cobwebs. And then to actually see them appear, right, in places where I'm like, you weren't there a few days ago. Like, where did you come from? But just this repeated awareness that your experiences during the day also evoke, right? It triggers another level of awareness, things you might have overseen, or overseen. So anyways, so my sister was there, and loved one. My loved one was there. So I was telling my mom yesterday on FaceTime. I was just like, Mom, my loved one is getting married, and so they're going dress shopping. And so I mentioned it to my mom because I'm not going to be there. And I said, for the bridesmaid dresses, like, keep an eye out for what kind of dresses they are. I said, because I need to tell you something. She's like, what? I'm like, I've kind of embraced, my masculine side a little more, and allowing my feminine side to be more nurturing, right? I mean, I mentioned that I initially felt more masculine inside, being emotionally shut off and everything, and not really creating, just kind of very thought oriented, right? And so when the whole, heart chakra opening, that was really me attempting to balance my feminine side that was very shut off. I wasn't very nurturing before. Like it's been this slow progression of tapping into my feminine energy, creative energy, just nurturing side of myself, and being more nurturing to myself, so to speak, instead of giving to other people. And part of that nurturing experience I have found is more of this acceptance of myself and the parts of myself, and reassuring myself that I'm okay, whether it's even just the physical aspect of me. As I mentioned to my mom, I said, I'm letting my hair grow out. That's what I told her. I'm letting my hair grow out. And I said, certain parts of me, I don't want to, like, really change. Like, I've kind of, I've allowed, like, you know, my hair's down here to grow, and I'm comfortable with it. I'm starting to get more and more comfortable. Like, there's this process of me, like, becoming more comfortable with it in public. And I'm doing it intentionally for that reason. Like, I'm wanting to challenge myself to be more comfortable with me, really. Being more comfortable in my own skin in public. And so I said, I don't want to shave. And part of the reason initially was when it was cold. So I'm always wearing long sleeves. But then I realized, I'm just like, you know, how much do I spend on shavers? And gosh, like, you know, being aware of my blueprint, you know, in terms of just wanting to be as eco-friendly as I can be. And, you know, buying shavers is expensive, and it creates more trash. And so it's just like, you know, let me like kind of put that on hold. Let me see how I feel about it, right? And I actually feel comfortable. like I don't have like the ingrown hairs, because usually those cause like bumps. Even like when I would shave like my, you know, my kitty, I get ingrown hairs. You get ingrown hairs, and it's so uncomfortable. And so now that I want to maintain it in terms of trimming, not completely like clean it off like I used to, but just have it more trimmed. But I've also let my leg hair grow, and that I'm getting more and more comfortable also with just being in public. So I mentioned it to my mom yesterday. I was just like, you know, Mom, I'm testing this out. I'm feeling more comfortable in my skin with that. And I know, and so here, like, you know, every other person you want, it's not everybody, but there's more people here in the city where it is more acceptable. It's like you accept people for who they are, and I love that about the city. Whereas where I come from, right, it's suburbia, it's different. So so I was like, you know, Mom, you know, so I'm telling her, my mom that, and then she's like, well, you need to tell your loved one. I'm like, oh, that's true, right? Prepare her, so it's not a major shock on the day of. So I had my mom like screenshot a picture of me showing her my arm up. And I'm like, send it to her, Mom, send it to her, because my FaceTime is through my computer. I don't have an Apple phone. So I said, but send it to me too, like add me to the thing. So anyways, that's why my loved one was in my dream. She was in my dream. And there was almost this, like, we're working at it. So she didn't send me a message or a follow-up until today. And you know, of course she calls me. And she's like trying to be patient, right? And she's just like, and then she's just like, oh my God, you remind me of when she was 18. And that was the phase that she was going through. She was going through this Jamaican, you know, dreadlock, you know, smoking pot, you know, I'm gonna be an artist on Venice Beach phase. And so she's just like, I was looking at myself in the mirror is what she said. She's like, when did we switch roles? She's the youngest. When did we switch roles? I said, you were a great teacher. She followed her heart. Speaking of following your heart, I got the book, Cosmic Love by Jan Spiller. I'm glad. I didn't know what I was getting into when I bought it, but I'm glad I did, because it's all about North Node, but North Node in relation to relationships. So it's different than the North Node information I already have, so I'm grateful for that. And I got teary-eyed as I'm reading mine, which is Leo North Node people. And I teared up because, yeah. It's on point. So, yeah. So I'm gonna look through it. I mean, I know everything has unfolded for a reason. You know, but it would have been helpful to have this information before. So I'm grateful that I have it now to be able to help other people with it. To be able to help other people with it. So, anyways. Yeah. I think that's all I wanted to share today. It's been a little weird today. A little weird in terms of just the flow of the day. It's just a weird day today. Still processing, still feeling, still reminding myself of stuff, and yeah. So, alright. Hi, my name is Yubi, and in case you haven't figured it out, this footage is capturing my experience as I learned to navigate my personal spiritual awakening. I am learning that this experience is unique to each one of us, in whatever way we believe we are embracing living our truth. This just happens to be my journey. And despite me having a graduate degree and a license in clinical social work, this by no means is intended to replace any type of mental health advice. This is just me on a personal level, documenting my experience, shedding light on the truth that I am learning and discovering for myself, and really inviting you along for the ride. If by some magical chance you find this content to be helpful in any way, shape, or form, please click the like button, share the message, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have an Instagram account, a personal one, and one specifically for this channel that you're more than welcome to check out. I'm an open book. I have also created t-shirt designs. I'm wearing my favorite one right now, which is the North Node design, but I have that and other things that you can look at inspired by this process and journey, and I have the link in the description box as well as in the about section of my YouTube channel. So you're more than welcome to check those items out. Any type of support is great. Again, if you find this content really helpful or meaningful, sometimes when we take that step and be vulnerable, with showing what's inside our hearts and what's really our truth, and we realize that we're much more connected than what we thought we were. And so I hope that as I'm living this experience, and that you find some type of truth for yourself, or find some type of ability to heal in some way just by relating, just by knowing that you're not alone. That really has been my goal with this process, not just being able to connect with others, but really for my own healing. It's definitely been a therapeutic experience and a very creative one for myself. So I thank you, and I wish you all the best, and we'll see what else comes next for me.